Merry Christmas, guys! Now, I know I told you I wasn't going to be doing a video today, but I felt that even though it is Christmas, I thought I could do something special for you. So I said I wasn't going to be doing a topic Tuesday today, and I was probably going to upload it on Wednesday, but things changed, and I figured I could give you guys a little bit of a Christmas present. Me. Well, not that much. I'm not that egotistical, but we've got a topic to talk about today, and it's going to be a little different from the normal topics because my tablet's dead, so I won't be able to do the standard topic. But we got some new stuff. We got some new coils in here from the Geek Vape line of the pre-built coils, and we're going to be talking about some difference in tanks. So we're going to be talking about the difference between RDA and we'll talk about the difference between RBAs and their different subcategories, because RBA is a blanket term for rebuildable atomizers. So we'll kind of talk about two different types today, and we'll go into their specifics and their pros and their cons, and kind of do a little comparative. So, without further ado, welcome once again, guys, to the Visual Vapor Reviews, and we'll be trying to do this special Christmas episode today on Christmas Day. I'm currently waiting for my parents to come around because had a little bit of a hiccup. We were planning to do Christmas dinner over at my parents' house, but things had a little bit of a hiccup. We're not going to go into details. It's Christmas, so there's no need for negativity. Merry Christmas, guys, to all of my friends out there. Shout out to Billy Corey James, as well as Josh Moon, Kenny Whipple, and also all my other good friends that I may have failed to mention in this video. So, Merry Christmas, guys, from the Visual Vapor Reviews to all of my viewers out there. And let's give you all a big cloud out for this Christmas, so we can technically, truly have a white Christmas, because, honestly, look at this. Look at this. No snow out there at all, as far as you can see. And it's just crazy because with no snow, that means there's no white Christmas. Hey, baby.
Hi, thank you for mentioning both things of the Visual Vapor Reviews.
My wonderful fiance Ariana. I figured since you were here, I didn't need to mention you, because you'd come up as soon as I did. So in any case, I'm going to give you guys a nice...
Merry Christmas from the Visual Vapor Reviews.
Yes. Give you guys a wonderful white Christmas for the holidays. So, today's topic is the difference between different subcategories of RBAs. So, we have a rebuildable tank atomizer, and we have the Squonk Box RSA. So, an RSA is a rebuildable dripping atomizer.
Where'd you mint?
The mint's in here, the last of the mint's in this one.
Okay, good, because it's that one then, because it's Christmas.
Yeah,
Mint.
well, I got mint mostly in this one, but this one has my fruit punch. So
well, it's Christmas.
fruit punch is at Christmas.
No.
They have bowls of fruit punch at the parties.
No, it's mint. It's Christmas.
Okay, fine. Candy cane-orama, if you will, with a banana split on the side.
As I did lipstick, and I'm going to have to drink everything out of a straw.
Well, that's you. Go get your hot chocolate.
Because I did lipstick.
So, let's get right into that topic as I was talking about. So, let's start off with simple definitions. RBA. Okay, baby. So, RBAs. RBAs stand for Rebuildable Atomizer, which is a blanket term for every type of rebuildable out there. So there are various subcategories like RDAs, RTAs, RDTAs, RSAs, which are the newest ones. So, seeing as we have a kind of a newbie in the whole vaping thing with my fiance not really knowing too much as I first thought, she actually knows a little bit more from listening to my videos, and I'm kind of proud of her, actually. So, actually, we have a momentary questionnaire to see how much she actually does know before we get into this. So, what does an RDTA stand for?
Rebuildable Dripping Tank Atomizer.
Nice. She got that one right. And what is an RSA?
RSA.
Mm-hmm.
Rebuildable squonk atomizer.
There we go. All right. So what's an RBA?
Rebuildable something atomizer.
RBA is the blanket term which covers all rebuildables, and it stands for rebuildable atomizer. So that's one. So RDA.
Rebuildable dripping atomizer.
There you go.
Atomizer.
Yep, she got it right. Rebuildable dripping atomizer. So now finally, yes. So what is an RDA?
Rebuildable dripping atomizer.
There you go. So what
You
is
said that.
what is an RTA?
Rebuildable tank atomizer.
There we go. And then last but not least, what is a kind of handmade coil that covers the most surface area? I'll give you a hint. It begins with a C.
Fused Clapton coils.
Yep, or Clapton coils, both work, and they're both right. Either way, she definitely got it right because they're made to cover a lot of surface area, and they're usually flat ribbon wire that's wrapped around multiple times. So, here, I'll pull one out for you. There should be one fused Clapton in there. There you go. So, yep. That's a fused Clapton coil right there. A really good coil. I actually have it in my squonk atomizer right now. So we're gonna be using some mint in here.
Oh, alien.
Those don't have any in there.
They do.
Oh, they do have my alien coils? Yeah, they're old used ones.
Oh, they're pretty.
Yeah, there are a lot of different coils in my
Title.
Oh yeah.
Oh, those are sick looking.
So now that the whole questionnaire is done, that was kind of a little bit of fun for me and Ariana to kind of see how much she knows. And she actually surprised me when I paused the video a few minutes ago to find out exactly how much she knew. I figured I'd do the questionnaire, see if she could do it. I didn't tell her whether she was right or wrong when she did it. So I figured when she came on to do the video for that part, I figured she could try the questionnaire out a little bit and see how much she actually did get right. And believe it or not, she actually got quite a few. She only got one wrong. And that's really good. So that kind of brings us into one of the most important things, knowing your terms. When you're a newbie and you try to talk like a pro just to make yourself sound cooler, it doesn't fly. A real vapor, anyone who vapes is a vapor, so no shade there. Basically, anyone who really knows their stuff about vaping will be able to spot a noob who's just trying to sound cool right off the bat. Be like, yo, I'm vaping at 0.13 ohms. That's a super high wattage. Yeah, that's not a high wattage, that's your resistance. Let's join the resistance. Oh. Alright, so let's get into this topic before we get too off track real quick. So, as I said, we're talking about the difference between different types of rebuildable atomizers, or RBAs, and the two of the kind of subcategories that we have, as well as talking about the rest of the subcategories. So we're going to go into the really simple one that starts off everything. And yes, I know this is something completely different. I mentioned that this was an RSA, but it is basically, in essence, an RDA. So we'll start off with the simplest one, which, as I mentioned, is an RDA, rebuildable dripping atomizer. Essentially, that means that you have a post deck or postless deck, however the deck is configured, and you build that deck with your coils. You install your coils, you tighten them all in, clip them to their right length. After that, you put the cotton through them, tuck them down into the deck section, and then drip your liquid onto it before firing it. And that means you have to keep dripping on it as it starts to dry out, which means that basically it is a little bit tedious, and its pros are pretty simple to list. The pros are you get insane vapor production, and you get better flavor. And one of the biggest cons is you have to constantly find your bottle of juice, open it up, drip on there, and constantly you're finding your bottle of juice every 4 or 5 hits. One of the pros of this one, however, is that you can take hit after hit before ever squonking it. That's where the next part comes in, which is also one of the newer things, rebuildable squonking atomizers. You have your squonk bottle at the bottom, which you squish, and then it feeds up from the bottom all the way to the barrel section, saturating your cotton. So It's a really good way to save on having to open your bottle of juice all the time and refill it. Hi, baby. And it saves a lot of time rather than refilling it. You can easily just squish the bottle and have perfect flavor on your cotton. So technically, I'm demonstrating
Which
both.
one's the lighter one that I can try?
Possibly this one. Hold on. But I basically just described the difference between both RSA and RDAs. They both have really good pros and some cons. One of the cons is that... Yes, I am wearing jeans. It's a rare thing. I don't wear them all that often. But... so I basically just told you the differences between for the RDA and RSA, because they're pretty much the same thing. One just has a bottom fill port for it. And the flavor that comes off this thing is exceptionally smooth. Love you, baby. So, really simply put, is that you have your deck section here with your screws that you put your coils in. Then you slide the cotton through and tuck it down into the sides. The only difference with an RDA and a squonker is that when you push the little button, juice fills up from the bottom and then soaks back down, meaning you never get overfill, which is really good. So that's where the flavor really is at its point. It also depends on the coil you use, because this is unregulated. It is a mechanical box mod, so this thing is really powerful, and it uses 3.7 volts or about 80 watts, depending on how high your how full your battery is. Because as your battery dies down, your wattage or the amount of power you're going to get off this thing will die as well. We'll try for a really big cloud off this. So let's try and get a bigger cloud off this, a little bit bigger than what I just did. There we go, really big clouds. Now, that's one of the biggest pros of unregulated box mods, especially ones like squonkers and rebuildable drippers. So, next up, we'll list the cons of the squonker. When you're refilling your squonker, you have to be really careful about the pressure, because when you fill it up, you only want to fill it to a little bit below the top. That way, when you go to fill it, you want to keep your finger over the tip of the bottle. So I'll show you my spare one. So you want to fill your bottle up to right about here, and then put your finger over the tip while you're screwing it down. That way it makes it easier for it to not flow back up and make a mess all over it, because what ends up happening is that bottle will act like a juice pouch. When you blow back down into it, it pushes the juice back up because it's trying to escape all that air. So either way, that's one of the small cons. Nothing huge, it's just a little bit of a learning curve. But other than that, it's a really great way to get started on rebuildables. Now, next up is a little bit more experience in terms, which brings us to the RTA section. Well, in this case, RTA is kind of like a blanket term for the two side parts, in which you do a rebuildable part, and then you have a tank section as well. So it's a pretty simple way of doing it. So that brings us to the next part of rebuildables, which, as I said, was RTAs, rebuildable tank atomizers, or rebuildable dripping tank atomizers. In essence, all it is you have a build deck, and then you have a tank section. The difference is, with a rebuildable dripping tank atomizer, you have the deck section on the top and the tank section at the bottom, with the cotton feeding down from the build deck into the tank itself. And that's where the pressure is. If there's enough cotton, it keeps the liquid at the bottom, and the liquid soaks up into the rebuildable as you're vaping. Now, the only difference in the rebuildable tank atomizer is if you have if you have a rebuildable tank atomizer, you have your build deck inside the tank, which means you have your tank section at the bottom and your build deck at the bottom, and then you have cotton on your through your build deck that soaks down. So the liquid goes from the tank to the bottom and into the atomizer, which then has a chamber section, which gives it a little more distance for the vaporizer and the vaporization process. And it basically allows the vapor to dissipate faster, giving you a bit less flavor, which is one of a subjective con. It depends on how you like your flavor. With an RDTA, you have your dripper right over your drip tip right over your deck section, so there's no room for the vapor to really dissipate. So your mouth is directly over the dripper. So in this case, this is an RDTA. You have your tank section at the bottom and your build deck at the top with the cotton feeding down, and a fill slot right there. So let me line up my airflow, and I'll show you guys how that works. So as I'm vaping, the liquid soaks into the cotton as I tilt it to my mouth. It goes onto the cotton, saturates the cotton, pulls it up into the coil, and saturates the cotton even further. And then as you vaporize it, the liquid gets soaked up into the cotton like a suction of a vacuum almost. So it creates a lot of pressure in there, allowing you to keep vaping without having to drip on it so often. Giving it a lot of good flavor and a lot of cloud production or vapor production. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy. And it's a little bit of a learning curve when you first start building, but once you get the hang of something like an RDA, you can pretty much build on an RDTA or an RTA. The RTAs are a little more trickier because the cotton is the only thing stopping that juice from going up and into the cotton, which causes it to be the only thing sealing it off. So if you don't have enough cotton, that pressure can leak and then basically cause the tank to leak into your airflow, and you'll have a handful of juice. Not a lot of fun. But it gives you the ability to have a tank full of the juice that you like, and should you like to try, say, a different flavor, like for example, I have my banana split in here, in the tank itself, but should I want to try something like fresh lime, I can take the fresh lime, put it on my dripper, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops say, put it on my dripper, and try the flavor out. And right off the bat, I taste fresh lime, which gives another pro to the RBA section, which means that you have instant flavor change. No matter what you drip on it, you get the new flavor immediately. You don't have to wait for the flavor to change out like you do with tanks. So, really cool way to do it, and it's a really good flavor all in all. I like my banana split, but when I want to try my lime out a little bit, I put a couple of drops of the lime on there, and then when the lime's gone, it goes right back to banana split. And it doesn't mix whatsoever. You never have to worry about your flavors mixing too much because you just put a little bit on your dripper to try out the flavor, and then it goes back to your original flavor. So it's a really good way to do things, and it's quite a big hobby part of the hobby section for vaping. So if you guys are interested, you can head over to Smoker Choice over in Concord. Pick up the bottles, the kind of bottles that are shown in this video, the kind of juice that's shown in this video, 2 for $1, as well as the Squonk box shown in this video, the Athena Squonk box there for $80. But it's just a mod kit, doesn't come with coils or batteries, just the Squonk box, the Squonk tank, and 2 Squonk bottles, 1 super squishy, 1 regular. So if you guys are interested, go over to Smoker's Choice and pick one up for you guys today. So until next time, as always, I'm your host, Michael Cobb. Merry Christmas. Be sure to leave a like and leave your comments and questions down in the crotch box. Be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to ring that notification bell so you stay up to date on all the latest updates from the VVR. So until next time, as always, I'm your host, and these are the Visual Vapor Reviews. Peace, guys. Merry Christmas.